What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. Blizzard today just released a brand new Overwatch 2 blog outlining the Overwatch 2 Defense Matrix system, which is effectively Blizzard's new upcoming system to help maintain gameplay integrity and eliminate toxic players, cheaters, hackers, and smurf accounts and all those other sorts of negative things that end up in the community. And while it's great to see Blizzard attempting to rein in some of these unfun playstyles and aspects of a game like Overwatch, there was one particular thing mentioned in this article, which I really think is worth pointing out because it's at the very least interesting to talk about, and that's the fact that for new players going into Overwatch 2, they won't immediately have access to all original Overwatch 1 heroes. So jumping down to the place in the article where this is specifically talked about, first-time user experience. The first-time user experience is an introduction to Overwatch 2 specifically designed for brand new players who make their account post-launch. We want FTUE to welcome players more gradually to Overwatch 2, as we've seen consistent feedback from new players feeling overwhelmed by numerous game modes and heroes. New players begin with access to a limited set of game modes, heroes, and some other restrictions to onboard them more gradually. The first phase of our new FTUE rapidly unlocks all the game modes and the ability to chat in-game, and the second phase unlocks all the original Overwatch heroes over the course of approximately 100 matches. This focused experience eases new players into the world of Overwatch by teaching them about different modes, rules, and other high-level aspects of the game in an approachable way. Most FTUE restrictions are lifted while in a group, so new players can team up with their friends at any time to play almost any game modes. Competitive is the exception to this rule because new players must complete a specific challenge to access this game mode. Requirements to enter competitive mode are changing with Overwatch 2. We are removing player levels in-game, so instead of having to reach a certain level, new players are now challenged to win 50 quick play matches before competitive unlocks. This gives new players time to prepare for the higher expectations that come with competitive, while long-term players don't feel discouraged by teammates who have less experience. In the process of unlocking competitive, we analyze new player skill levels to optimize matchmaking in a way that feels good to everyone. While this process helps new players join the fun, it's also an effective way to discourage disruptive behavior and cheating. FTUE is an investment to complete because it takes time to unlock features. Competitive specifically cannot be accessed without winning matches. Disruptive players are unable to immediately affect the larger community, with things like voice chat and match chat unlocking later in FTUE. Brand new accounts made by cheaters or disruptive players will all have to play through this experience, giving us the chance to identify suspicious accounts before they enter other game modes. FTUE was designed to make Overwatch 2 a welcoming, approachable, and fun game for everyone who chooses to play. This experience only affects accounts made on or after the October 4th release date. Anyone who played prior will not have to play through the first-time user experience. Alright, so there's quite a bit I went through just there, even beyond just the old heroes being locked behind this FTUE system. But the locked heroes specifically is, of course, the big thing I want to focus on. There has been tremendous backlash already about Overwatch 2's upcoming new heroes being locked behind the Battle Pass system, and now Blizzard is announcing that old heroes are also going to be semi-restricted for new players specifically in order to help ease them into the game. Now, what I want to say is, at first glance, this does sound like a bad thing, because again, it's just limiting the number of heroes any given player has access to. But unlike the Battle Pass system, I think there are some very, very good reasons for why Blizzard is handling it this way. For a new player coming into Overwatch, seeing more than 30 heroes just right there on the screen is a bit intimidating in a sense. If you don't know which hero you want to start playing right off the bat, then it can be tough to pick one. So if they restrict the number of heroes you first have access to that very first time you log in after making a new account, it will certainly help to get players to better understand the Overwatch environment and game modes and everything before bombarding them with the full full list of playable heroes. So in a sense, I can certainly see how this is a good change. Also, it's worth noting that the matchmaking system is actually going to be trying to prioritize grouping new players who haven't unlocked all the heroes yet with other new players who also haven't unlocked the new heroes yet, which means that if you're a longtime player who's played all the heroes for years at this point, there's a very low chance of you actually getting matched with some of these newer players who don't have all the original 32 heroes. In fact, it seems like the only scenarios where you really will encounter players like this, either on your own team or an enemy's team, is when they're playing in a group with another player who already has all those heroes unlocked and has already made it through this new player experience system. So even when it comes to situations like you desperately needing an Ana on your team because that's just the perfect hero for the situation, and let's say the support players on your team are new players and haven't unlocked Ana yet, it seems like that's going to be a fairly rare situation. At least, hopefully, ideally, it won't happen very often. However, at the same time, from the sounds of it in this article, it'll take up to 100 matches for a new player to actually be able to gain access to all the heroes. To me, that sounds like quite a bit. As someone who plays Overwatch pretty extensively, 100 matches might not take that long to get through, but for the average newcomer casual player who plays maybe a couple times a week, how long is it going to take them to unlock all the heroes if it takes 100 matches to do that? Don't even mind the idea of grinding new heroes like Kiriko through the battle pass. Just getting those core original 32 heroes is gonna be a feat in and of itself. And certainly I understand the importance of this on the front of preventing smurfs and other cheaters and stuff like that from just making a new account and hopping into competitive, but is 100 matches too many? This is one point where I'm actually really curious to hear what you all have to say about it. I think initially there is going to be a lot of negative backlash just because of how much existing negativity there was regarding the Battle Pass heroes, and since this is in such a similar vein of restricting hero access, I could easily see people being upset about this too. But personally, I don't really think it's that big of an issue because there seems to be a really good reason for them adding this, with the only exception being that 100 matches might be a lot for people to be able to actually get to some of the heroes they maybe want to play. I don't know, definitely let me know your thoughts on that one. I'm curious to hear what people think. A couple other things I want to talk about in this blog post specifically, since I'm not going to cover the entirety of the post. There's a lot of really technical information that I don't think is too terribly interesting to get into. Another thing we learned about is the upcoming changes to endorsements. Positive interactions deserve to be celebrated, so endorsements are being optimized for Overwatch 2. There will only be a single endorsement category per match, rather than splitting into 3 different categories, and you will only be able to endorse players on your team. Through this change, positive players will have an easier time achieving and maintaining high endorsement levels. Our goal is that players recognize and aspire to be positive forces in our community, and we plan to award Battle Pass experience to players with high endorsement levels to show our appreciation. So there we go, just a bit more information about the upcoming changes to endorsements. This is something which I believe Blizzard has kind of talked about here and there over the past couple years, but it is nice to have some more focused, concrete information about what is going to actually happen with endorsements. And the other category I would like to touch on as well is general chat. The general chat in the game menus is being removed from the game because we found it to be an area where frequent disruptive behavior occurred. General chat doesn't serve a productive purpose, and it could be removed without compromising the core mechanics of the game. Other chats will remain in-game for players to use. I can't remember if they specifically mentioned that general chat was going to be removed beforehand, before this article came out, I guess I should say, but I find it funny that they're just like, yeah, general chat is pointless and stupid and doesn't really bring about anything positive or worthwhile, so we're gonna get rid of it. Like, general chat can be fun at times. It can also be really, really cringy, but I did just find it sort of humorous that they acknowledge the removal of general chat because, I don't know, like, of course they're getting rid of it. I'm not even really sure why it was ever there to begin with. Those, however, are all the major points I wanted to talk about from this latest blog post. As I said, the rest of it was fairly technical stuff, talking about tackling cheaters and smurf accounts and things like that, and basically just making it harder for disruptive players to get into the game and disrupt people's matches, specifically when it comes to competitive. So on that front, if you're interested in reading the rest, I will have a link to this article down in the video description. Feel free to check it out. But otherwise, I would love to hear your thoughts on the things I talked about here today in the comments down below. Specifically, what are your thoughts on locking existing Overwatch 1 heroes behind a sort of introduction new player experience system system where new players won't get immediate access to all these existing heroes, and instead will have to sort of work their way through in order to be able to play them. Are you a fan of Blizzard implementing this sort of change, or do you see it as just further restrictions on what people are able to play? Either way, I'd love to hear from you, and as always, be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.